The media company Forecast has teamed up with CBD drinks brand 3 Dots to capitalise on the growing use of cannabis oil in everyday products. Well, Forecast was founded by the England cricketers Stuart Broad, Ben Stokes and Jofra Archer. Well, yesterday I spoke to Jofra Archer about the new venture. We also talked cricket, including that painful semi-final defeat for England in the T20 World Cup and who he's backing now to win the tournament. Separately, we also discussed the racism row currently overshadowing the sport currently. Well, more on that later, but I began by asking Jofra Archer about the new partnership between Forecast and 3 Dots.
I think it's as big as we push it, as big as we want it to go, really. All the Zoom meetings and stuff that we've had with the guys have gone really well. It's a really, really good company, you know, and not just from the commercial side, but the guys working behind the scenes. They're amazing humans as well. So, you know, this is new for me, but if this is how commercial stuff really is, you know, I might actually try to do a lot more stuff.
I mean, obviously, obviously,
I was saying it's just a radio.
Sorry, do go on.
That was just.
Well, I hope not. Yeah. No.
To the commercial side, so I may give it a go after I retire. Hopefully, that's no time soon, though.
Well, I hope not, yeah. No, I mean, CBD is obviously a really hot area for investment right now. Are you worried about the competition if someone like Pepsi or Coca-Cola expands into this field in a big way?
Well, not really, you know. We probably wouldn't have had this opportunity if it wasn't for the gaming. It's always about the gaming, and anything can come after. You know, we're not doing this to chase down the commercial side. Obviously, CBD can help relax people. So I think that is probably our major selling point. You know, as I said, I'm trying to get it out there. We are not chasing the commercial aspect of it. Anyone we can help along the way, we would like to help.
So can you see yourself appearing in adverts for it in future?
Yeah, if they have me, I think they probably will want to see Stotzy or Brody. But, you know, if the opportunity does arise, I'll take it.
I wouldn't do yourself, Dan. No, obviously it was a pretty disappointing day for England yesterday in the T20 semis. You're great mates with Chris Jordan. He's not had a great press today. Have you spoken to him since the match?
Yeah, I spoke to him yesterday. I didn't see the press after. I don't think I had to be honest. I think I knew exactly how the press went. You know, no one goes out there and everyone's trying their best. You know, it's a long tournament. You know, emotions are flying, different climate, different temperature. You know, everyone's trying. I can't doubt anyone's effort. We went to the semi-finals, you know. We could have been out in the quarter. We could have not even made out the group stages. So I think we've done ourselves proud. Obviously, there were key moments that we probably could have done a bit better. But, you know, it's a race. It's a marathon, sorry, not a race. And, you know, we got another World Cup next year. We got a World Cup after that as well. So I think this is probably the best thing that could have happened to the team. We know exactly where we went wrong yesterday. And to be honest, I wasn't even there. And I was like, I actually had to turn my phone off for an hour yesterday as soon as the game was done. Because, you know, I finally understand how, like, football fans watch games and get upset. Like, I always wondered, like, it's just a game. Like, how are you upset about what people are doing and to the fact that you want to cry or that you're not speaking to anyone? But yes, this is the first time actually I was like, yeah, I don't want to see anyone for at least an hour or two yesterday. Like, when my parents came home, I didn't really see anything. As soon as they came in, I went outside because I know exactly what everyone was going through yesterday, and I know how everyone would have felt. You know, like there's some guys that were injured, like J-Roy T, you know, them being there, not being able to help. Even me, I feel helpless, and I'm here. So I know exactly how the guys feel when they're there. So it wasn't a great day yesterday for everyone.
As you say, there's another competition next year. Who do you think is going to win the final? Will it be New Zealand or Australia?
If New Zealand play like how they played yesterday, then I think they'll definitely give Australia a run for their money. Obviously, Australia, great team, you know, great players, and I don't think it matters to me too much who wins as long as it's good showing on TV.
OK. Now, obviously, Yorkshire County Cricket Club is embroiled in a pretty horrible racism row right now. Obviously, as a very, very high-profile black player, have you experienced anything like the sort of thing that Azeem Rafiq's been talking about?
The only instance I really received was New Zealand 2019. Yeah, we were touring there. But apart from that, I've never had anything in the county circuit. Being at Sussex, we had probably about more than half of the black players in the whole circuit. So I think awareness was pretty high, and yeah, I think the guys were just pretty switched on at Sussex. So I don't think stuff like that would have happened. Obviously, because we have huge numbers. Well, being at Yorkshire, I think it was only Azeem and Rash really. So it's just a little bit different, and really, really sorry he had to go through what he's been going through, and also sorry that it took so long to be resolved. We don't know what scars it reopened. He probably had dealt with it and then healed past it, and now it's reopened again. We don't know the reopening the case, what it might do for him mentally. So, I just hope he's doing all right, and I hope that everything gets resolved and ends pretty quickly for him.
Do you think any good can come of this? The fact that Yorkshire now have had to sort of make some changes at the top of the organisation, they're clearly, the new chair, Lord Patel, is very clearly obviously going to try and address this.
Yeah, I haven't followed much of the case and what's going on at Yorkshire, but I'm glad that people are trying to be more aware. I'm glad that people are helping, really, and it just raises awareness for the future. So whatever groundwork that we put in now, it's not for now, it's for the future. It's for the young black kids, the young Asian kids that want to come into cricket so they can feel safe.
Well, that was Jofra Archer speaking to me yesterday, and I should probably reiterate now the statement that we received yesterday from Yorkshire County Cricket Club, which was this: we know there is still much work to be done and more difficult decisions to be made. We need to rebuild the trust of the fans, the cricketing world and the public. Well, still to come here on Ian King Live, we'll be having a look at how global markets are doing this Friday morning. Don't go away.
We are a lesbian couple. We've been together for 13 years. And when we embarked on our baby journey at the beginning of 2020, we were shocked to discover there was various barriers and discrimination in place against us. And ultimately, it comes down to wanting equal access to fertility treatment. And it's the unfair financial burden that has been placed on the LGBTQ+ community that amounts to the less favourable treatment.
They require same-sex couples, so Megan and I, to undergo 12 self-funded rounds of IUI. And if you combine that with the cost of donor sperm, you're looking at essentially £50,000 you have to pay just to be on an equal playing field with a heterosexual couple who their requirements for IVF are 2 years of unprotected sex with no evidence required. So essentially you could call it a gay tax that is put on us.
It's cost us around £8,000, and actually majority of that is donor sperm, so I don't know if a lot of people realise, but that part is also very expensive, as well as the fertility treatments. And what we're wanting obviously to happen is for equal rights for the LGBTQ+ community, for there to be discrimination to be recognised, and ultimately for us to be treated as equal. What that looks like is obviously not entirely down to us, but to be on an equal similar level would be IUI being provided, that level of insemination in the first step, and then IVF. And this is actually something that Scotland already provide.
It is absolutely wonderful to see how many people who have reached out with a positive response. And Megan and I have also realised, this just does not affect us, it affects the whole community. And it just shows there is such a need for what we're really campaigning for.
Well, our case has been issued to the Judicial Court for review, and then we are just literally waiting to hear. So keep posted.
Equity markets in the Asia-Pacific region had a solid session overnight as shock over the big US inflation number on Wednesday evening eased. There were gains in Hong Kong, Shanghai, Mumbai and in Sydney, but the star performer was Tokyo, where the Nikkei 225 finished higher by more than 1%. Well, equity markets in Europe opened to the upside a couple of hours ago or so. Here's the current picture. CAC 40 in France and the DAX in Germany ahead. The MIB in Milan and the IBEX in Madrid currently slightly lower. Talking points today include Deutsche Telekom. Its shares are up 1.75% in Frankfurt. That's after it raised its full-year profits outlook. Well, here in London, the FTSE 100 not really joining in the party to such an extent, currently off just over 0.5%. AstraZeneca weighing on the index somewhat, I think there. I mean, the index is off nearly 41 points. AZ has taken nearly 17 from the FTSE on its own. There are one or two blue chip gainers to talk about. They include Burberry and ITV, both of which issued better than expected results earlier this week. Outside the FTSE 100, the technology provider Oxford Instruments, its shares are up 2%. That's following comments from one or two of the brokers. But as you can see on the screen there, the oil services firm Wood Group, its shares are down by just over 4.5%. They were off some 6% earlier on this morning. It cut its full-year sales forecast today. On the foreign exchange markets, it's really all about the US dollar right now, but the pound has actually managed to gain back some of the ground that it lost earlier this week to the dollar and the euro. Sterling currently ahead by 1/5% against the greenback and up nearly 1/4% right now against the single currency. As for the oil price, well, that is lower this morning amid speculation that the US government is set to release crude from its strategic reserves. A barrel of Brent crude right now will set you back $82.01 a barrel. That is off by just over 1%. Well, joining me now is the senior market analyst at Oanda, Craig Earlham. Craig, very good to see you this morning. We were discussing AstraZeneca earlier on with Hannah from the FT. What did you make of the numbers?
Well, I think broadly encouraging, to be quite honest. And I mean, we're talking about a company as well that's still not making any money from its COVID-19 vaccine. I know they said they made a modest profit in the last quarter, which will effectively pay for the research for its antibody treatment. But now the questions for investors is ultimately, when is it going to start making a profit, and how much will it be? Now, it's alluded to the fact that it's only going to be a modest profit that it's going to make going forward, at least for the foreseeable future, and potentially that's what's weighing a little bit on the markets, on its share price today. We look at a company like Pfizer, who's made quite a considerable profit on its vaccine because it's not selling its vaccine profit-free like AstraZeneca is. So potentially that's one of the key takeaways, I guess, from those earnings results this morning.
Now, obviously, the big story out of the Asia-Pacific region overnight, it's actually broke a couple of hours ago. Toshiba breaking itself up in this three-way demerger. I mean, this is something that activists have been calling for a while. Is it going to be enough to appease them, do you think?
I think it will. I think it's a better option than the company going private. Sometimes these companies, especially these very old companies like Toshiba, General Electric is another, they become so huge and they become so diversified that they lose their focus. And I think that's one of the things that you could probably aim at Toshiba. So I think splitting into three companies, regaining its focus, and allowing some of the gems within the company to shine again, I think is probably going to be in the best interest of the company. One concern is that the timeline for this breakup is quite long, so I think that's one concern that shareholders are having. But if it does go through, then I think it's going to be a positive step forward for the company.
Now, Craig, I mentioned the dollar earlier on. Dollar pretty well strong right across the board now. This is presumably on the back of the higher inflation print that we got out of the US on Wednesday night and potentially an earlier move from the Fed than expected.
Yeah, not just if it was just the inflation reading, I think that would cause a jolt in the markets. Inflation at a 31-year high and above 6% doesn't make for good reading. But it also comes on the back of a really strong jobs report last Friday. And the Friday before, we had the employment cost index, which rose to a 20-year high. So combined within those three things, what we're actually seeing is not only are we seeing high inflation, which could still be temporary, but maybe more prolonged than previously thought, but it's widespread inflation. And that's a greater concern because once it starts to filter down to different areas of the economy, the risk of it becoming more permanent and a bigger problem for the central banks and potentially for the rest of us, it becomes more significant. So yes, I think the markets are now starting to price in more rate hikes despite the central bank pushing back. And I think now Jerome Powell, the Fed chair, and others have a real job on their hand getting markets back on board by the end of this year.
All right, Craig, got to leave it there. Always good to talk to you. Thanks for joining me today. Well, still to come here on Ian King Live, we'll be bringing you the latest from the business pages. Don't go away.
exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it, you're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Check me out.
He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes!
How do you get the energy to do
I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of the darkness. The whole of darkness.
So what did that
Myself and the world will adjust. And 2019.
Forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on The CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Starr Radio.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Hello, lovely listeners. Tune in to the renewed show with Charlotte. Make it a date to listen to me this and every Thursday at 5 p.m. on Starr Radio UK. Tune in to an hour of power, an hour of encouragement, an hour to inspire you to stay positive and strong in this season. See you there and listen.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamb.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamb@gmail.com. Well Lamb Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Body is your ma. Bekutu, show them you got the cocoa set. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Harrison, aka Mr. Songs. This is the Kingmaker Baba for the girls. We're here. This is Starr Radio. Don't go nowhere. UK, London. We they call them London for home. For here, we they call them London. And that's how you know. Just have fun and stay blessed.
Hi there, this is CJ Buckman, your life coach. And whenever I'm in London, I listen to Starr Radio UK right here. But guess what? You can listen to wherever you are.
The coolest way to start your
Broadcasting
weekend.
live online.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
All around the world. In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
This is Starr Radio UK. Are you ready to turn it up?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Your heart is aching. Smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. Hey, this is Archie and you're listening to Starr.
Yes, sir.
Ele banjo.
Ele banjo. Au, bela show.
Ele banjo.
Ele banjo. Oga numo yemo ya
Ele banjo.
Ele banjo.
Why go?
The bread of life is Jesus Christ.
Apollo, hey.
Wala Apollo, Jesus.
Inka Apollo, hey.
Wala Apollo, Jesus.
Only the best music. The coolest way to start your weekend.
Yengale no ni amekoi. Apollo ni jengwe ni baneko ni wayeko ni wayishi. Moni Apollo le e ba ishike ya nano.
nya megboyi abolo ni kemwe ni ba ne ko ni wa ye ko ni wa ishi mo ni abolo le e ba ishi ke ya na no inkabolo wala bolo ji Yesu got it abolo wala bolo ji Yesu
All right then. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on the planet. And those of you on other planets as well, we salute you and welcome you to the Friday edition of the morning show. Today is the 12th day of the 11th month of the year 2021 with the time now exactly 10:39. And of course, it is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Playing in the background something from the old soul winners. Say it's Abolo. Abolo means bread of life. Talking about the bread of life, that is Jesus Christ. I hope that you are enjoying the tune this morning. Something different from what I've been playing all the time. But let me say special good morning to my colleagues, Mr. Frank Davis, Mr. Olayomi Kwaiki, Mr. Dan Tabiri, and Mr. Francis Guy as well. All in the house, making sure that everything is ticking along nicely. And a special good morning all the way goes to South London, where we have Kojo D, and then to Aberdeen, where we have Felix. I hope you gentlemen are having a good day. But wherever you are, welcome once again to the program, the Friday edition of the morning show. Of course, I remain.
This is the morning show with Archie.
But my greetings to all our listeners in the US, in Europe, in Asia, in Australia, on the African continent, especially those of you in Nigeria, Ghana, Togo, hey, Benin, and then to the wonderful people in South Africa, Uganda, and across the continent of Africa. I salute you. Especially to my listeners in Barbados as well, the Caribbean area. I salute you as well. Thank you very much to each and every one of you for tuning in this morning to listen to us. A special good morning goes to David Chineye. Yes, he's posted a comment that I'll be putting across in a moment. But wherever you are, I want to welcome you all to the greatest program in the whole wide world, the Starr Radio UK morning show. Okay, if you're the first time of tuning in on Fridays to listen to us on Starr Radio UK, this is how the program goes. I'm going to bring you the quotes for the day. The weather forecast is going to follow suit. Then the travel updates will follow from thence. Then go on to have a look at some of the stories making the rounds across the globe, known as Global Trotting. Then, at 11 o'clock exactly, we have Mr. Olayomi Kwaiki, who will be joining us to bring us updates from Nigeria. We'll be going on from there. At 12 o'clock, the lines are open for you to add your voice to the discussions. But before then, if you want to do so, you can put your comments on our Facebook page or text or WhatsApp it to us, and that is via our number +447539661744 +447539661744. And then at 12:30 exactly, we'll be having Money Man, Mr. Dan Tabiri, CEO of GL Accountancy Services, joining us on the Money Hour. Last week he did talk about some highlights of the autumn budget. I don't know what he's going to be talking about today, but it's good to be in expectancy because he's always got something to pull out of his bag. So wherever you are, once again, welcome to the show. Share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, so the quote of the day is: "Faith lights the way through the darkest night, directs us through the fiercest storm, and sustains us when we falter or are weak." I can't believe that more than even I'm believing at the moment. Now, faith lights the way through the darkest night, directs us through the fiercest storm, and sustains us when we falter or are weak. So what happens when you don't have faith at all? That is when people just decide to just truncate their lives. But I hope that you're not doing so. I say it all the time, once you have life, there is hope for you. Welcome to the show. And when it comes to the weather front here in London and the southeast of England, let me tell you what is happening at the moment. While on my way to the studio, I found out that it was raining. I was like, okay, what has the weather got in store for us today and over the weekend? Let me tell you. Now, this afternoon will be cloudy and breezy with a risk of a few spells of rain pushing in from the west. However, there may be the odd brighter spells in places. Moderate southwesterly winds expected as well. Now, this evening it will remain mostly cloudy and the odd spot of rain may linger in places. Tonight will be drier but overcast with just a few clear spells, a touch milder under the cloud. Top temperature is going to be 15 degrees and the lower is going to be 11 degrees. UV level is going to be low, pollution is going to be low. Sunset 16 and sunrise for tomorrow morning 07:13 hours. But let me tell you what is happening over the weekend. On Saturday we're going to be having it will be a much drier and fine day with variable amounts of cloud lingering throughout the morning. In the afternoon, a few sunny spells will break through the cloud. And then outlook for Sunday and I say Sunday is expected to see mostly cloudy skies throughout the day, along with the odd shower or spell of light rain expected as well, moving in from the east. Gentle to moderate northeasterly winds expected. The temperatures will be ranging between or averagely between 14 and 9 degrees. So wherever you are, that is a gist of what you will be seeing when it comes to the weather front. If you are in the London and the southeast of England, but wherever you are across the globe, maybe you want to share with us what is happening. Casino, I hope you are doing good. I know. From Russia with love, Moscow. Yeah, I know you are bracing yourself because it's kind of cold there. All right then. It is Starr Radio UK. We're gonna take a quick break, and once we come back, I'll bring you the travel update. But stay tuned, don't you go away. It is the Friday edition of the morning show. I am Archie, of course. Stay tuned, and stay tuned.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Check it out. Keep your eyes on the road.
This is Starr Radio UK.
All right, so keep your eyes on the roads. I'll keep you navigated. I promise I'll be on the Starr Radio Travel Update that comes away every weekday from 10:40. It's now exactly 10:47. How is your travels this morning? Well, let me tell you what is happening here in London and in the UK, okay? So, on the underground this morning, apart from the Waterloo and City line that has got planned closures, all the others have got good service. London Overground, TFL, Rail, DLR, good service there as well. But we have a situation with tram link, London tram link, minor delays between Wimbledon and Beckenham Junction while they fix a signal failure at Harrington Road. Good service on the rest of the line. I continue to keep those eyes on the roads. I will keep you navigated. Moving on to the riverbank this morning. Shortly, I can tell you that good service throughout. Now, on the National Rail, we've got Great Northern that has got minor delays. Great Western Railway, special service. ScotRail, minor delays, and Southwestern Railway, special service there as well. I continue to keep those eyes on the roads as we keep you navigated. I promise I'll be on the Starr Radio Travel Update that comes to every weekday from 10:40. Now, on the final segment at the major routes in London, A13 has got closures, A24 closures, A4 closures, and Central London Red routes closures there as well. And let me say it once again. Well. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you, wherever you might be on planet Earth. Enjoy your commute for today, but you know what? Continue to keep those eyes on the road.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
My energy is making him tired.
Yes.
How do you get the energy to do that?
I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of the darkness. Of darkness.
So what did that
Myself and the world will adjust. And 2019.
Forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on the CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Starr Radio.
In your car, at work, at home,
on your smartphone.
The bread of life is Jesus Christ.
Welcome back to the program, Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. The Friday edition of the morning show, of course. It's now 9 minutes to the top of the hour. That means it is time for me to bring you or take you across the globe for the global trotting. So wherever you are, just hold on to something. If you are standing or if you are sitting, sit very comfortably. Get yourself a hot or cold drink, whichever is appropriate, and let us take off. For surety, we will take you to your destination. All right then. Let me say good morning to David Chini again. He says that, well, Nigeria police force criminals. They will use fake people to come claim arresting those involved in that crime, only to protect real terrorists on uniform who did that evil. They will go behind. Okay, let me see. It's got a few things there. They'll go behind to release the people they used to deceive Nigerians as arrested gangs. Okay, that's quite an interesting one. But some of the other stories I'm going to be looking at from Nigeria. Olayomi, let me say good morning to you. Governor Fayemi Malami should defend Nigeria, not claimants. The Nigerian Government Governors Forum, NGF, yesterday maintained that the Attorney General of the Federation and the Minister of Justice, Mr. Abubakar Malami, has continued to mislead President Muhammadu Buhari in the case of the $418 million Paris fund deduction being claimed by some consultants. Maybe it's got some kickback in there. Now, banditry, military deploys troops, attack helicopters on Abuja Kaduna rail line. But you want to know more? Just stay glued to yourself. Don't go away because Mr. Olayomi will be throwing more light on it once we have him at 11 o'clock. But now let's go on to have a look at some of the stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. Starting from home here in the UK, migrants Channel Crossing hit new daily record. Around 1,000 people reached the UK by boat on Thursday, with more than 20,000 arriving this year. CEO quits Charles Charity amid honest inquiry. Now, Michael Fawcett faces claims he offered to help a wealthy Saudi donor secure an honor. Oh man. AstraZeneca to take profits from COVID vaccine. The drug giant signs new deals, but poorer countries will continue to get the vaccine at cost price. Well, in the sports world as well, Ram Flowers was a non-playing member of Sir Ramsey's squad, which won the 1966 World Cup, and he has passed ex-England midfielder Flowers, dies 87. The women have been warned home working may harm their careers. Bank of England economist Catherine Mann says mothers could be particularly vulnerable. Why is he saying so? We'll be bringing you more on that front once we come with the details of the stories making the rounds across the globe. But this is Starr Radio UK. Now, in other parts of the world, all countries must agree on the new deals on the COP26 talks. Enter their final hours today. And the West have condemned Belarus at the UN over stranded migrants. EU nations, the US and UK says Belarus is putting migrants' lives in danger for political purpose. Now they say that they've gotten them to the border, let them cross to your side, and you say that they are causing what? They will also, defend themselves. Okay. A court has temporarily blocked the release of Trump's records. So what is going to happen on that front? Well, we know that the government has the upper hand. They could pursue the case and maybe get it all turned around. Now, if he has got nothing to be afraid of, why is he holding on to that? No, you can see it. What has he got to hide? Dirty linen? My goodness. Starr Radio UK. Dozens of skeletons found in ancient Peruvian city. 25 people, mostly young women, were buried in a small space in the ancient city of Chan. And Peru's leader to sell Boeing jet in cut on pets. Left-wing President Pedro Castillo says the money is needed to fund education and health. Now, how many of the developing countries' leaders or presidents will say that let's do the same? Because we think that we need money for our people. We need money for our people, and therefore we will want to maybe sell some of the things that just giving us what that luxury. After all, we can travel on commercial flights. Well, what do you think? It is on Starr Radio UK. Assange has been given permission to wed partner in prison. The Austrian WikiLeaks founder and Stella Morris, a South African-born lawyer, have 2 young sons. So now time for them to get married in prison. Oh man. Are they going to be having honeymoon there? Or just getting married and then you just go your way? All right then. It is all Starr Radio UK. continent, Rwanda YouTuber jailed for humiliating officials. In his video, Diodin Nyosenga accused soldiers of serious abuses against slum dwellers. So I say it all the time that when the world's strong hands, okay, somehow if the leader is, let me put it this way, a bit autocratic, okay, we get things done rather than where in countries where democracy has not been developed to that extent where we say everybody go and do whatever. I mean, it is good, okay, and then people believe and will take along nicely. We have the police, we have everybody doing their work the way they're supposed to be. Do you think that if somebody's not wielding a strong hand, we can see any development in developing countries? It's a question that I will want to get answers for. But it's All Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let us pay tribute to the late former South African President de Klerk. Yesterday I saw a video that he made, that's the last video, where he says that when he passes, then that video is released. And he was in the video apologizing for all the misdeeds and atrocities, the wickedness of apartheid. But it's All Star Radio UK. Today is exactly a year after the death or the passing of the late president, former president of Ghana, Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings. Well, there are some remembrance celebrations going on there. We'll be trying to see whether we can bring you a slim view of all that's happening. So this and a lot more going to be coming your way today. Stay on, don't you go away. There's a lot more stories there. But it's All Star Radio UK. Enjoy this music, and once we come back, we'll bring you Mr. Olayomi Koiki Abodo. Money abolole, eba ishike ya nano. Wachamele ye mana, yekale noni ameboyi. Apolo ni kemwe ni baneko ni wayenko ni waishi. Money abolole, eba ishike ya nano. Inkabolo, wala bolo ji Yesu. Got it. Apolo, wala bolo ji Yesu. Show it. Wachamele ye mana, yengale noni ameboyi. Apolo ni kemwe ni baneko ni wayenko ni waishi. Moni abolole, eba ishike ya nano. Wachamele ye mana, yengale noni ameboyi. Apolo ni kemwe ni baneko ni wayenko ni waishi. Moni abolole, eba ishike ya nano. Moni abolole, eba ishike ya nano. Da. Oh, eba ishike ya nano. Hey, awo mengo mie. Tami, ike ngomi ngeswami, ibe ngomi no eje ne mayare o. Ngomi ngeswami, ibe ngomi no eje ne mayare o. Ike ngomi ngeswami, ibe ngomi no eje ne mayare o. Ngomi ngeswami, ibe ngomi no eje ne mayare o. Ike ibe ngomi no eje ne mayare o. Ibe ngomi no eje ne mayare o. Ibe ngomi no eje ne mayare o. Kala Ajo money na ne yolo aume o. Ajo money na ne yolo atame o. Ajo money na ne yolo.
This is Starr Radio UK. Are you ready to turn it on? This is Starr Radio UK.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
The coolest way to start your weekend.
From SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it, you're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. And we have Mr. Olayomi Koiki, but I don't think I can see him. Let's see. Yomi, good morning to you. Okay, he's going to be calling us back. So let's see whether we can still see him or not. Okay, I think we are on the verge of seeing him pretty soon. But wherever you are, don't you go away. Yes, this afternoon, whilst we get Yomi's picture image on, this afternoon exactly at 3 o'clock, we'll be having Mr. Frank Davis hosting the Roots of Africa program, and today he's going to be hosting a couple of people there, but I want you to make a date with them. He's going to be hosting Ambassador H.E. Erenio Namboka, His Excellency Vice President Idol Network, and Miss Salamina Saboko, Chair Idol South Africa, and Princess Nikewe Bum, Ambassador Idol South Africa as well. So make a date with them when they join us on the Roots of Africa this afternoon and every Friday afternoon exactly at 3 o'clock, 3 p.m. or 15 hours GMT. But at this juncture, let me welcome my colleague and co-presenter, Mr. Olayomi Koiki, who has joined in. And let me say, Yomi, massive good morning to you.
A very good morning to you, Mr. Archie. Good morning, Frank. Good morning to all our presenters. Good morning to all our listeners and viewers from around the globe. And welcome to Starr Radio UK. It is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London.
How are you doing, sir?
Well, it's a bright, beautiful Friday. Thank God it's Friday, like we will say. And I can only say I'm doing very well. we give thanks. The more you are alive, the more there will be an opportunity in the midst of all the chaotics that we are facing from around the globe.
Yes. So don't lose faith. You are alive, so there is some hope for you and whatever thing that you are doing. So once again, welcome to the program. Now let's look at some of the stories making the rounds across the globe. Okay, Governor Fayemi Malami should defend Nigeria, not claimants. Well, he is the Attorney General, so he has some superintendents under him, deputies who can be doing the job. So why should he be the one defending the country? Over to you, Yomi.
Well, there is the issue of the money that was returned back, which is known as the Paris refund. This money now is being tried to be claimed back by the Attorney General of the Federation from the state government through their council payment, and it seems that is not really going well between the federal government and likewise the state governors, and that is where the issue is. It's kind of eating up, but like you did mention, the Governor Fayemi of Ekiti State, this is what he has to say, especially when the situation is between him as the Governor Forum met yesterday. The Nigerian Governor Forum yesterday maintained that the Attorney General of the Federation and likewise the Minister of Justice, Mr. Abubakar Malami, has continued to mislead the President, Muhammadu Buhari, in the case of the $418 million, which is approximately 169 billion at the official rate, which is what we call the Paris Fund deduction, being claimed by some consultant. He was speaking in one of the mainstream media yesterday, wonder why the Attorney General was taking side with the people he described as dubious instead of defending the country against the government. So why is there this comparison between somebody that has the Attorney General of the Federation, the federal government had approved the payment of the controversial sum of 6 creditors in defiance of the issues raised by the 36 state governors on the legitimacy of the demand by the claimant. The claimant included a former member of the House of Representatives, a politician and a lawyer, Ned Iwoko, who is demanding $142 million, and Ryok Nigeria Limited, Oji Info Uziru, and Olaiton Bello, who are laying claims to $142 million and precisely $215. Also, Ted Isogo, Wale Farm Panic Alert Security System Limited. The Debt Managing Officer Office was recently directed to commence issuance of promissory notes to the creditor, a development the governors have continued to resist. Though the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, had insisted that the consultants were deserving of monies from his own assessment of the situation, alleging that the governors had admitted to owing the debt and had actually been paying them off for some years. According to Malami, contrary to the claim, the Nigerian Governor Forum had signed a contractual agreement which is authorizing the deduction of fees from the federation allocation of the state as payment to consultant who handle the negotiation. So it seems all the 36 states is not pleased with the current situation with the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami.
Now let's look at the background of that money, how it all came about. Was it a loan? Was it money because it's coming from Paris? Is it money that was confiscated and now has been because these lawyers were representing the country and therefore have managed to secure that money back into Nigeria and therefore are saying that we need our payment for the consultancy job that we did on it or whatever work that we did on it to get the money brought back to Nigeria. Is that what is happening?
Well, you're quite right. This is a refund that came back to Nigeria, known as the Paris Club refund, and now some of the governors of the 36 states are saying that we will not be able to pay what the Attorney General of the Federation is trying to defend as against those that are dubious. These are like kind of a consultant. Remember Abacha has the kind of a stolen word as well in Switzerland, and it has to be some kind of a negotiation between a particular party on behalf of the government, to get the money back. So it's similar to exactly, what, is being put together now as the Buhari the Paris fund. So payment to consultant on the Paris Club refund is what is actually creating this hulala that is currently happening in Nigeria today.
Okay. But the question is, so are they trying to say that they didn't go into any agreement with them before they embarked on this consultancy? Is that what they are trying to tell us? So that these people just decide, okay, we are going to just do it, and once the money comes back, then we can you can decide on what to give us. Didn't the federal government not go into any agreement with them at all?
Well, you would expect that should have been the right thing to do. I mean, especially when we're talking about a very huge amount of money involved here. I mean, there should have been a kind of a consultation between the federal government, who is going to manage this particular kind of a project, so that we do not have what is currently playing out today in terms of who should be paying back this money to the consultants.
Well, listeners, it is Star Radio UK. You don't hear it from anywhere, and you don't have all the in-depth from anywhere but from this platform, because we'll make sure that every information that we're bringing your way is verified. And that is what we are doing. Updates from Nigeria with Mr. Olayomi in our North London studios. I'm Archie here in the studios in Croydon. Okay, now let's go to some of the other stories making the rounds, sir.
Yes, once again, a very good morning to those that have joined us. I would like to say thank you very much. Once again, it is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. So we're going to go through some of the other headlines that we have coming out of Nigeria today. And yes, the issue between the controversy that is still going on when we talk about Odili's home raid, more controversy over the police parade that took place during the Supreme Judge home that was raided some couple of weeks ago. So what do we know about that? The Nigerian police force yesterday have now paraded 14 suspects, including a self-confessed fake police officer, a lawyer, an Islamic cleric, and a journalist, for alleged involvement in what we know as the October 29 raid on the Maitama Abuja residence of a judge of Supreme Court, Justice Mary Odili. What we know is the first said the men who stormed the residence were not security operatives, adding that 7 others, including the soldiers who took part in the raid, were already at large. Those paraded by the first spokesman, Frank Mumba, include the leader of the operation, Chief Superintendent of Police, Lawrence Ajojo, who he admitted was an imposter, a lawyer, Alex Onyikoro, a cleric, and even a whistleblower, Aliu Umar, and Starley, who claimed to be a freelance journalist with This Day. Members of the team had stormed Odili's residence, laid a 5-hour siege to the house on the strength of a purported tip by Umar, who claimed to have observed illegal activities in the building. Then the Attorney General of the Federation knows about this, but the question is, following an order by the Chief Magistrate Emmanuel Inya, who issued a search warrant to the body identified as the Joint Panel Recovery Unit, the Ministry of Justice, the support security operative, besieged the home. The magistrate later revoked the order, saying it was misled. So that means the search warrant that was put up was because a misled information was given to him. The incident which has sparked outrage with the Attorney General of the Federation, the Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, observing his office of involving in this operation. So this is coming up with the headline this morning, 17 minutes past, and let's touch quickly on the other headline before coming back again to you in the studio. EFCC detained ex-Edo Governor Igbin Edom over 1.6 billion naira fraud. He was a one-time governor and he's been a governor for some time. But what could be the reason why the EFCC is now much more interested in terms of these particular person? Again, we will have to wait and see what is going to be the outcome of this particular conversation. Also, Malami named in $139 million bank transfer, according to the reps. Again, the reps has faulted the process of the $139 million, allegation. The House of Representatives Ad Hoc Committee on Assessment and Status of All Recovery Loot, Movable and Immovable Assets from 2002 to 2020 by the Agency of the Federal Government of Nigeria for Effective, Efficient Management and Utilization may invite the Minister of Justice. Again, is just kind of a person of interest at this particular time for ordering the bank to convert revenue collected in dollars to naira before the remittance. A deposit money bank, Keystone Bank, had told the committee that Malami, the Attorney General of the Federation, instructed it to remit part of the $136 million in its custody in naira, while also determining the exchange rate, in a revelation that the lawmaker criticized. So the money that should have been put to use back to the federal government in the hard currency doesn't seem to be coming in hard currency. Rather, they are saying this should be in the exchange rate, and likewise, the person that determined the exchange rate is the Attorney General of the Federation. So what a very interesting, headline there as well. Also, Kano, Igboho, Afenifere, or Haize back political solution and demand release. Yesterday we talked about, the federal government asking that there might be a political solution to the ongoing case of, Nnamdi Kanu and Chief Sunday Adeyemo, popularly known as Sunday Igboho. So what do we know this morning after that conversation? There are indications that the leaders of the self-determination groups, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, of indigenous people of Biafra, Chief Sunday Adeyemo, aka Sunday Igboho of the Yoruba Nation, are ready for discussion with the federal government. Council for the Yoruba Nation and the IPOB leaders, Chief Yomi Aliu, SEN, and Aloy Ejimako, that disclosed this with some of the newspapers in Nigeria. The Attorney General of the Federation and the Minister of Justice, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, during a press briefing on Wednesday, said the federal government would not rule out political solution to resolve the separatist agitation in the country. What is the other headline coming out this morning from Nigeria? Also, Akeredolu recruit 35 engineers, architects, others into Ondo workforce. Nigeria now earns more revenue from non-oil sector. This is coming from the Vice President Yemi Osinbajo this morning as well. Anambra elections, Soludo received certificate of return, so that has confirmed him as the new governor to take over Anambra State. The Independent National Electoral Commission on Friday has now presented the certificate of return to Professor Chukwumeka Soludo for winning the Anambra State governorship election that was held last week Saturday. The presentation took place in Akwa, the Anambra State capital, with his deputy also presented at the event. Soludo was the candidate of the All Progressive Grand Alliance, which is currently ruling the state with Governor Willie Obiano. He won 19 out of the 22 local government that we have. I'm going to take one more. It's exactly 11:21. Then I'm going to come back again to you in the studio. It is still your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. It is Star Radio UK. You can follow us on all our social media handles. You can also make sure you subscribe to us as well on Instagram, Twitter, and make sure you follow us on as well. Gunmen threaten Obi Kubana over Abakare present at mother's burial. I've been able to watch that video as well myself. A heavily armed group identified as angry vampires, or angry vipers rather, has threatened to attack the Anambra-born businessman and socialite Obi Kubana due to the presence of the Commissioner of Police Abakare at his mother's burial. The burial, which was held in Anambra in July, the lavish display well as Obi Kubana buried his mother in grand style. A lot of celebrities were there as well, including the indicted of the interrogation that is still going on, even though they've not released it to America, where Hush Puppy, another criminal that is currently in US for fraudulent activities, has indicted the Abakara, one of the Nigerian super cop, as is known, into allegation, and that is the reason why some of these groups are saying that they will not. They will probably have to attack, according to the headline. Which, like I said, I saw the video as well. In terms of his relationship between himself, I'm talking about Obi Kubana and Abba Kaira Abu Kaira, for those that might not know him, is a police officer with the Deputy Commissioner of Police in Nigeria, currently on suspension, on relief. But a lot of Nigerians, as at last week, were asking why his case has not yet surfaced back again, because the police have suspended him, but there's still no extradition of him to America as we speak. So that is the headline for now. I'm coming back again to you in the studio. It's exactly 11:23 a.m.
Yes, listeners, Mr. Olayomi Koiki for you from our North London studios. I bring you with the update from Nigeria. As he said, if you are listening to us, you can share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones. We are on all social media platforms. Just go there, subscribe to our pages on ones that you have to, and then follow us there as well. Yes, it is Starr Radio UK, the Friday edition of the morning show. Now, Yomi, interestingly, you were talking about the Attorney General who, when some money has been said to have come to the state coffers and it's supposed to be in dollars, decided that it should be given in or should be changed to naira before coming in there. My question is, now if the payment was made from outside the country and was in dollars, doesn't it go to the central bank?
Well, that should be the normal proceeding, and that should be the normal norm, especially money that is meant to go back to the federal government. But this was only revealed during this conversation between the ad hoc committee on the assessment and status of a lot of the recovery loot. And we do have a lot of recovery loot across the globe in terms of properties, money, and wealth. But in the executive director and public sector director, Keystone Bank, Lawal Ahmed, at an investigative hearing by the committee in Abuja on Wednesday, told the lawmaker that the bank had remitted all the funds belonging to Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation. In his presentation, Ahmed said position as confirmed by the CFO of the NNPC was that we have remittance of funds that were with us. At last meeting, you asked for clarification regarding some reverse from the statement of account which we review. And yes, money that is meant to be in dollar is meant to go in dollar, but it doesn't seem so, because that money has now been converted back to naira, with the exchange rate being determined by the AGF according to this individual.
Interesting. Well, I know some snakes have begun to swallow some of the dollars, changing them into naira. Well, listen, Starr Radio UK. Now let's come to the political solution for separatists. Now, when you were giving the presentation, we were talking about the fact that Chief Sunday and Nnamdi Kanu and were in favor of that. Is that what you said?
Well, that is what the headline says. Doesn't mean that is the statement from the spokesman of Chief Sunday, but definitely a lot of people are reacting to that. Not just the Ohainze and likewise the legal representative for Chief Sunday, but also the human rights lawyer Femi Falana, senior advocate of Nigeria, also have a say to what has actually been said. Not just him. We're talking about three senior advocates of Nigeria, Femi Falana, Ebu Olu Adegburua, and Ifedayo Adedipe, have asked the regime of President Major General Muhammadu Buhari to quickly now set up a motion dialogue process with all the various secessionist groups and arrowheads in the country. In a separate interview, the senior advocate of Nigeria said the federal government does not have an option but to dialogue with the separatists. The Attorney General of the Federation, like we said on Wednesday, have said there might be a political solution to resolve the crisis. Not just that, as that was also coming. Also yesterday, the other group that we've known that represent the Pan-Yoruba Social Political Group, Pa Ayo Adebanjo, this is what he has to say during a press statement yesterday. 2023, at Ferry, we mobilized Southwest for restructuring before the poll. He was asked, how are you going to do that? Especially that the president has said continuously, restructuring is not on his agenda. The leader of the Pan-Yoruba Social Political Organization, Afenifere, Pa Ayo Adebanjo, yesterday promised to lead the Yoruba nation to demand restructuring of the country before the 2023 general election, saying President Muhammadu Buhari alone cannot restructure the country. We're just about 455 days today on our clock on Star Radio UK. Adebanjo, in the State of Nation address titled Fixing Nigeria Before the Fall, which was held in Lagos yesterday, that the various geopolitical zones have been set up for failure by the opponent of the restructuring, who he said are bleeding the country to death. His word, I have pounded Chief Awolowo's word in his 1981 public letter to Alhaji Shehu Shagari, and I have found a path to metaphysically intriguing, even though it has only served to deepen my alarm, such that I believe that I owe it to posterity to place my fears on the record. The ship of the state, which is Nigeria, is fast approaching a huge rock. I don't know what kind of rock. It could be the Titanic rock, or it could be any other rock that is very close to Nigeria that we know is Oluma rock is there. And unless you, as the chief helmsman, quickly rise to the occasion and courageously steer the ship, which is Nigeria, away from its present course, it shall hit the rock just like the Titanic sank. And the inescapable consequence will be an unspeakable disaster, such as in the rare annals of the man. And that is also linking to what we've been discussing, where 3 senior advocates of Nigeria say it is time now for a round conversation dialogue with everything happening in Nigeria.
Well, let's start Radio UK. But has looking at let's take people from the Yoruba, okay, the Ododoa, and let's take people from the Igbo side as well. How have they received this information? Not the leaders, but the people themselves, because they want. We've been talking about, we want to leave, and then they said, okay, government want to dialogue. There should be a political solution to that. How have they accepted it or received that information?
Exactly what happened this morning during the 2 hours conversation before I came on here. Everybody said that has always been the gimmick of the federal government. That has always been the gimmick of the government. I'm talking about from the side of the Yorubas that we engaged this morning. There were about almost 5,000 people on that broadcast, and each and every comment and each and every those that were in that Zoom conversation this morning for more than 2.5 hours have said that it is not time for dialogue, because the government is only trying to slow down the process of this movement, according to them, and dialogue cannot happen. Yes, as you also remember, I'm not sure whether I did talk about that yesterday. We also know that Ilanomo Odua also released a statement that they will not have any dialogue with Nigerian government. The first thing is Chief Sunday Igboho must be released from Benin Republic. So you can see that that conversation of Malami coming out to say there might be a political solution to this situation on ground. I'm not sure whether the Mazi Nnamdi Kanu group or the IPOB might also want to have a dialogue, knowing what we saw at the case that came to the court, where lawyers were literally locked away from getting into the premises of the court. That is getting more interesting as the election is getting closer. There's a lot of pressure with the ship that is steering. How is it going to steer in the next 455 days? The rest assured, you'll be hearing every details of that on this platform, Star Radio UK, your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Yes, listeners, Mr. Olamiko in North London. I'm Archie here in the studios. Let me say good morning to Grace Olushoto. He says good morning and happy weekend to you, my dearest warrior, hero, and legend Olamiko aka White Lion, and everyone on Star Radio UK. Good morning to you, Grace. We hope that you also have a very lovely weekend. Okay, Yomi, which are some of the other stories making the rounds, sir?
Well, let's this is I saw the image coming out from Ogun State. It's not the first time that we are seeing the pensioners that are literally not being paid. Now we saw just the case of minor that have now been sentenced with about 2 billion naira pension scam that has happened in Nigeria, and a lot of Nigerians are wondering why people are not being paid pension. The reason is because those that are having that pension have actually squandered the money entirely, and that is why the money is not available as well. Let's quickly look at the response of the Yoruba leader, Professor Banji Akintoye. Igbowo Akintoye's group replied, Malami least condition for dialogue. According to the umbrella body of the Yoruba Self-Determination Group, known as Ilana Omo Oodua, Thursday insisted the embattled Yoruba agitator Chief Sunday Adeyemo, also known as Sunday Igboho, committed no crime by agitating for self-determination from Nigerian state. The group, led by 86-year-old professor of history, Professor Banji Akintoye, said the regime of President Major General Muhammadu Buhari, retired, must first ensure the release of Igboho from prison in the neighboring Benin Republic before talk about any political solution. According to Maxwell Adeleye, the spokesman for Akintoye, made this known yesterday in regarding to what the Malami, the Attorney General of the Federation, have said as well. So this again is something that we continue to monitor. Let us remember that on 1st of July, his house was attacked. 2 people have been killed. 2 of those bodies have not been returned. 2 people were taken away. 2 of them have been charged for terrorism charges, even though they've all been released on bail, while the case is still pending as we speak. So we'll have to see and monitor what is going to be the outcome. We are focused on Yoruba agitation, according to Ilana Omo Oodua. However, while speaking, the spokesman for Akintoye-led group Adeleye said the AGF, the Attorney General Federation, must clarify what he meant by political solution. He said, we have read what the AGF said about not ruling out political solution, but he needs to clarify what he means by that. Does he want us to come and beg Nigerian government, or approach it when Igboho and other European nation agitators have not committed any offense? Our position is that Malami should clarify himself. However, Igboho has not committed any offense, and there has not been any charge from the Nigerian government against him, Igboho, in the court in Benin Republic. And we are focused on our agitation. However, if the Nigerian government open up to dialogue on how we can peacefully actualize our aim, we are open for it. The release of Igboho will also be part of our negotiation, and we want to have that discussion. Igboho has to be on the seat in that dialogue meeting. So that is the response back of Ilana Omo Oodua. Maybe by Monday we might have the response back from the groups of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, which I will be able to relay back again on Monday. It's coming up to exactly 11:36, so I'm just going to go straight to what is trending on the social media when we talk about Nigeria. The most important one is I was able to, the governor of Kaduna State. This is quite interesting. I mean, remember that Nigeria is currently suspended, the use of Twitter in Nigeria. But something happened, with the governor of Kaduna State, where he was outside Nigeria, and I'm sure you know where I want to go. He was actually using Twitter, and there was a kind of a Twitter banter between himself and also, some of Nigerians back home, in terms of, while he should be using Twitter when Twitter has been suspended. And the person that responded to him says, the only time you have freedom of speech is when you're outside the country. I'm trying to get the actual tweet. Hopefully I'll get that up. And the response was, well, you don't actually get freedom of speech only when you are outside, the country. So you can tell that a lot of Nigerians are frustrated, especially the suspension of Twitter. Alhaji Lai Mohammed was asked in Paris when Twitter will be lifted. He said they've actually come through to 10 out of the negotiation. We're just waiting for the remaining 2. So let's hope Nigerians will be back on Twitter as quickly as possible. But what are Nigerians on Nigeria saying this morning exactly on Twitter? Also, Simon Ekpa, _Simon _Ekpa, Brent Bruce filed a second supplemental submission to the work in Geneva over Mazi Nnamdi Kanu illegal detention in Nigeria. So that is coming up from the headline as well in terms of Twitter. It's sad news. One of the reporter for Vanguard, after missing from October 13, we can confirm that his body has now been found. The last time he was, was when he left the House of Rep. He was out of the vehicle somewhere in Abuja, and then nobody saw him until the dead body has been retrieved this morning. May so rest in peace. Not just that alone, that Diata, a critic of the Nigerian authority on the same social media that we are discussing was adopted by gunmen in Kaduna State at now exactly 831 days ago. Where is that Yata? Where is that Yata? This is coming from Amnesty International Nigeria, and I'm going to take one more. Come back now to you in the studio. Once again, it is Starr Radio UK, your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. Terror Tantin Patami says, NIM meant to track Nigerian activities online. You'll be wondering why NIM have not been able to track the terrorists demanding ransom from millions of Nigerians from different parts of Nigeria this morning, yesterday, and day before yesterday. And that is the question so many Nigerians are asking. If we can be able to have the technology to track those activities online, how come we can't track those demanding heavy ransom to the tune of 3 million, 1 million for a lot of Nigerians that hardly have ever seen 100,000 naira pass through their bank account? This is Starr Radio UK. I'll come back now to you in the studio, 11:39. It's a Friday edition of the morning show.
Yes, listeners, Mr. Olayomi for you, bringing us updates and what is happening on the social media platform when it comes to Nigeria. But Yomi, there was one other story that you posted that let's find out what the military high command yesterday said. It had ordered the deployment of troops and attack helicopters on the Abuja-Kaduna expressway in a bid to contain attacks by bandits on the rail line in the area. Why? Do they stop the trains and then take people, abduct people and take their rob them?
Well, we saw the last, I think about 2 weeks ago, where actually the a train rail line had an IED explosive, and that means it created a bit of havoc on the train line. Yes, the headline says the military high command yesterday said it has ordered the deployment of troops and attack helicopter on the Abuja-Kaduna expressway that has become a terror no-go area. And that is why people are using the option of the train from Abuja to Kaduna rather than traveling on the road. Probably not everybody might have the means to travel on the train because it's quite expensive. But the troop has said they have now, in the bid to contain attack by what the government is calling bandits, but we tend to call them terrorists because that is the term that we should be using, not the bandit. Terrorists on the rail line in the area. In another operation, the troops have killed 31 insurgents in the northeast, rescued 97 kidnapped victims, while 1,186 terrorists and families surrendered to the troops in the past 2 weeks, even as the troops had deactivated 20 illegal refineries in Niger Delta. The question a lot of Nigerians are asking is, these 1,186 people that have surrendered, terrorists, remember these are terrorists that have surrendered, who are they? Do we have the face to them? Do we know who they are? And where will they be kept now that they've surrendered? Are they just going to be allowed to go back into the society when somebody that was just using a social media handle, we're talking about Ifeoluwa Lady K, that has now been charged for terrorism-related offense by the same federal government because she was using a social media to advise a lot of Nigerians, especially those from the southwest, indigenous people, about self-determination and the atrocity happening in Nigeria. But yes, we now have 1,186, according to the Nigerian military, terrorists, and even their family have surrendered in the past 2 weeks, and nobody knows who these individuals are, while an average Nigerian or those that are agitating have become, the eye of the government of today.
Let me ask you one question on that. I mean, those who have been released into the as whether they've been captured and then they come. They pardon them. Do they give them jobs? Do they give them money to maybe go back to? What exactly do they do?
Well, they do. You might be surprised. We saw that in Kaduna State they were paying about 100,000 a month for each of them, and that also means that those individuals were not satisfied with that 100,000, so they actually went back to do more crime. But the one in Kaduna that was picked up have actually now invaded some of the government vehicles. so this happened some few months back. A lot of Nigerians get frustrated that the government is pampering all these terrorists. Remember, some were even giving brand new clothes, while millions of Nigerians do wear what we call a second-hand okrika. That means, they were also giving food. And like the headline that we just talked about right now says, about 1,186 terrorists and their family have surrendered. According to the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahya, however, charged the troops to be decisive, ruthless in dealing with the terrorists and bandits, reminding them that the security threat facing the country was real. Speaking at the media in Abuja yesterday, the Acting Directorate of the Defense Media Operation, Brigadier General Bernard, said following recent breach of the rail transport in the area, military authorities deployed troops and attack helicopter to patrol the area. How long they're going to have to do it, I don't know. But there was another video that surfaced, circulated on the social media, where a train that was traveling stopped on an unknown area, pick up passenger, they all boarded the train, and the train continued the journey. You will wonder whether that is another kind of an illegal stop in terms of illegal exploitation, illegal corruption. Like they say, anything goes in Nigeria.
Wow. Can you just imagine a train, a Gatwick Express, stopping midway somewhere, and people just getting on it and we continue? Oh my goodness. Well, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Mr. Olayomi bringing you updates from Nigeria, from our North London studios. I'm Archie here. Now, before we go, Yomi, what else do you have for us?
Before you go, make sure you touch on www.starradiouk.com. You can find, news, sport, business, report, all our blogs, entertainment, and you can connect through our radio and TV platform from there as well. But the most important thing is this weekend, we have everything it takes to make sure you stay tuned with us. I'm going to be going now, but you still have Archie to take you through the remaining segment. I'll be back on Monday. Make sure you stay safe over the weekend.
Thank you very much, Yomi. Have a lovely day.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye. Well, listeners, that was Mr. Olayomi bringing you updates from Nigeria. It's now gone 11:45, and it is the Friday edition of the morning show. As I announced earlier on, this afternoon exactly at 3 o'clock, the Roots of Africa program will be coming your way once again, and this time round, we'll be having Mr. Frank Davis hosting a couple of three guests on the show, namely His Excellency Ireno Nambuka, who's Vice President, Idol Network International, and then we'll be having Miss Salamina Seboko, who is also Chair Idol South Africa, and then from South Africa again, Ambassador Idol South Africa, Princess Nikewe Bam. Okay, they'll be joining Mr. Frank Davis today, and they'll be looking at Ghana Convention and Panama 22. They've just ended the Ghana Convention. They just ended Ghana Convention. That is the Idol took place in Ghana. The roots of in Ghana. Okay, and they're going to be telling us more about what happened during that convention. So make a date. Those of us who were not able to go there, we will be picking our feet from this broadcast that will be coming your way this afternoon, exactement at 3 p.m. If you are in Nigeria, it's going to be 3 p.m. 16 hours for you. If you are in Ghana, it is 15 hours. That is GMT, and then so add and subtract, and you get the right time that program will be airing as well. But it is all Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. We're going to take a break and bring you some lovely tune. But this is one question that we ask all the time: which way, Nigeria? Which way, Nigeria? Enjoy that song, and I'll be with you in a moment. Stay tuned. Don't you go away.
it hard to start? How long shall we be patient before we reach the promised land? Let's save Nigeria, so Nigeria won't die. Which way Nigeria? Which way? Which way Nigeria? Tell me which way to go. I love my fatherland. Oh yeah. I want to know. Yes, I want to know. Which way Nigeria is heading to.
You are listening to
Every
Starr
little
Radio
thing that goes wrong, we start to blame the government. We know everything that goes wrong because we are part of the government. Let's save Nigeria, so Nigeria won't die. Which way Nigeria? Which way? Which way Nigeria? Tell me which way to go. Which way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh yeah. I want to know. Want to know. Which way Nigeria is heading to. Inefficiency and indiscipline is ruining the country now. Corruption here, there and everywhere. Inflation is soaring high. Let's save Nigeria, so Nigeria won't die. Which way Nigeria? Which way Nigeria? Which way to go? Which way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh sure, sure. I want to know. Yes, I want to know. Which way Nigeria is heading to. We made mistakes during the oil boom, not knowing that was our doom. Some people now have everything, while many, many have nothing. Let's save Nigeria, so Nigeria won't fall. Which way Nigeria? Which way Nigeria? Which way to go? Which way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh yeah. I want to know. Yes, I want to know. Which way Nigeria is heading to. Green revolution is a reality. Let's give it a chance to grow. Let's join our hands to farm the land so we can have enough food to show. Let's save Nigeria, so Nigeria won't die. Which way Nigeria? Which way? Which way Nigeria? Which way to go? Way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh sure. I want to know. Yes, I want to know. Which way Nigeria is heading to. Our ambition to be millionaires is running the country down. We all want to be millionaires and to live in the air. Oh, let's save Nigeria, so Nigeria won't die.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
In your car,
at work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
Oh yeah.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Remember that a simple step is the beginning of a million miles. Let's start right now to rebuild ourselves so as to make the country smile. Let's save Nigeria, so Nigeria won't die. Which way Nigeria? Which way? Which way Nigeria? Which way to go? Which way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh sure. I want to know. Yes, I want to know. Which way Nigeria is heading to. Heaven and
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Check me out. He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes!
How do you get the energy to do
I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of the darkness. The of darkness.
So what did that
Myself and the world will adjust. And 2019.
Forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on the CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Starr Radio.
Welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. And that was a lovely tune from Sonny Okuson. And he said, "Which way Nigeria?" Okay. With all the story that is going on, political solution being seem to be the way forward. As to whether the various sides will agree to whatever is going to put across, we wait to see. Will the Yoruba people or the Ododowa movement have decided that, well, they will not be in favor because it's one of those things they've seen it. It's just that government want to use that strategy to slow them down. But what do you think about all that? We'll be bringing you more on that front. It is All Starr Radio, okay, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, 5 minutes to the top of the hour. That is 5 minutes to 12. Exactly at 12:30, I'll be bringing you the money man, Mr. Dan Tabiri, and we'll be looking at highlights of the 2021 budget, okay, statement. So make sure you make a date on that one. Okay, but now let's move on to some of the stories making the rounds here in the UK and other parts of the world. Now in the UK front, migrant channel crossing, the story says that around 1,000 people across the English channel around 1,000 people crossed the English Channel by boat to reach the UK on Thursday, a new record for migrant crossing in a single day as mild weather made the journey less risky. Now, 4 border force vessels intercepted boats that were spotted off the coast and escorted them into Dover. Now, 3 people are feared lost at sea as 2 kayaks were found adrift near Carlisle, French authorities have said. A Whitehall source accused France of losing control of the situation. The Home Office said British people did not want to see people die in the channel as ruthless gangs profit. Now, more than 23,000 people have made the crossing from France to the UK by boat so far this year, a sharp rise on the 8,404 in 2020, and far more than in years before the pandemic, when most asylum seekers arrive by plane, ferry, or train. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, so here in the UK, the CEO of Charles' former Prince Charles's charity, Michael Fawcett, has resigned amid inquiry. The chief executive of the Prince of Wales charity has resigned amid accusation he helped a major donor secure an honor. Now, Michael Fawcett, Prince Charles's aide for 40 years, has left the Prince's Foundation, and his event planning firm will no longer work for Clarence House, a spokesperson has said. Mr. Fawcett temporarily stood down from the charity in September. The Prince has denied any knowledge of the offer of honors to a donor. A spokesperson for the Prince's charity said Michael Fawcett had resigned from his post as CEO of the Prince's Foundation. Mr. Fawcett became CEO of the foundation in 2018. It aims to promote sustainability, renovate the Dumfries house estate and offer education and training programs in construction and traditional crafts. Now, he said he will step down temporarily after the Sunday Times, Daily Mail and Mail on Sunday published allegations that he had offered to help Saudi businessman Mahfouz Marer Mubarak bin Mahfouz secure an honorary CBE and British citizenship. Now, Mr. Mahfouz, who denies any wrongdoing, donated large sums to restoration projects of particular interest to Prince Charles, according to the Sunday Times. Well, it is Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, still here in the UK, AstraZeneca has started to move away from providing its COVID-19 vaccine to countries on a not for-profit basis. The drug giant had signed a series of for-profit agreements for next year and expects to make a modest income from the vaccine, it said. The company had previously said it will only start to make money from the vaccine when COVID-19 was no longer a pandemic. Its chief executive, Pascal Soriot, said the disease was becoming endemic. The jab will continue to be supplied on a not-for-profit basis to poorer countries. Mr. Soriot has said previously, we decided to provide it at no profit because our top priority was to protect global health. He said he had absolutely no regret about not making a profit when competitors had been, despite having to deal with political criticism in various countries. He said the vaccine, which was developed with the University of Oxford, had saved a million lives around the world. In a quote, he said, I absolutely don't regret it. Mr. Soriot said, we are proud as a company of the impact we have had. We have saved millions of hospitalizations. The AstraZeneca team continues to do a stellar job. It is all from Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to exactly 12 o'clock. And let me announce the lines open because we've got the next 30 minutes to have our chat, and then after that we'll take you straight to the Money Hour, where we'll be having Mr. Dan Tabiri, CEO of GIL Accountancy Services, our money man, joining in. Okay, so if you want to join in the conversation this morning or this afternoon now, it is 0208-133-2257 or 58, 0208-133-2257 or 58, or you can text or WhatsApp us. It's +44 750 39661744 +4475 3966 1744. Okay, now 07539661744 07539661744. If you're in US or Canada, it's 001-718-303-2737 001-718-303-2737. And you can tweet at us. You can also, our Twitter handle is Star Radio UK, and email address is info@starradiouk.com. Make sure you get in touch with us on this program and make your voice heard. Okay, so here in the UK, one final story before we move on to other stories. Women who work mostly from home risking their careers stall. Now workers are returning to the office in large numbers, according to the Bank of England economist Catherine Mann. She said office interactions was vital to advancing companies, but many women were still tied to home working. Miss Mann said it was a particular issue for mothers facing school disruptions and difficulty accessing childcare. Earlier this year, Rishi Sunak warned about young people's careers. The Chancellor said he doubted his banking career would have been successful if he had started it in virtual meetings, and that being in the office help build skills. Miss Mann, a member of the Bank of England's Monetary Policy Committee that sets interest rates, said online communications was unable to replicate the spontaneous office conversation that were important for recognition and advancement in many workplaces. She told an event hosted by Financial News magazine, virtual platforms are way better than Okay, let me take it again. She told an event hosted by Financial News magazine, in a quote, virtual platforms are way better than they were even 5 years ago. But the extemporaneous spontaneity, those are hard to replicate in a virtual setting. Now, she went on further to say, difficulty accessing childcare and pandemic-related disruption to school meant many women were continuing to work from home, while it had been easier for men to return to the office. Now, there is a potential for two tracks, she said. The people who are on the virtual track and people who are on the physical track. And I do worry that we will see those two tracks develop, and we will pretty much know who's going to be on which track. Unfortunately, she said. Miss Mann was an economic professor and chief economist at Investment Bank City and the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development before joining the Bank of England in September. Now, businesswoman Justin Roberts, co-founder of the Mumsnet website, agreed that there was a risk women's career could suffer from not being in the office, but it was up to companies to be aware of this. But the flip side, she said, was that the flexibility of home working was a huge benefit to women and mothers in particular. Presenteeism and long hours culture had been eroded by new ways of working. Now, let's not forget that one of the best things to come out of the pandemic crisis is the ability to work flexibly, especially for mothers juggling childcare and school runs, she said. Now, Danielle Hammer, chief people officer at insurance giant Aviva, said companies need to set out a framework to ensure that other people working remotely are not an afterthought for company bosses. Otherwise, she said, career prospects and the gender pay gap would suffer. In a quote, she said, I think if organizations leave it up to their employees, you could have a potential situation where those with carrying responsibilities who tend to be female tend to work from home more often. And we'll look back in 2 years and think, hang on a second, why has the gender pay gap widened? Or why are female promotions slowing down a little? She said, it's taken us a long time to make progress on things like the gender pay gap, and I think it will be terrible if we went backwards on it. Do you think that people working from home will bring about disparity in pay or the gender pay gap? What do you think? I want you to add your voice to the discussion, especially if you're a woman listening to me this morning, working from home and still being able to listen to us and enjoying your day and being productive. Some people have said that, look, working from home has made us so productive that we never thought that we could do that, because that flexibility and chilling out and still doing your work, not being in that confines. So I was speaking to somebody, and the person was of the view that, look, he said in our office block, we have more than about 100 people sitting in one floor, and this one on the phone doing blah 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 blah, and this one saying blah blah blah, talking, interacting with various people. And nah. When I'm in my own space, back home, working from home, I have the peace. When I want, maybe I want to prepare some reports or something, I have the peace to be able to go around all those. Now, what do you think about that? Do you think the way forward is just saying, okay, let's also go back to the same old? And what next? It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, moving on to some other stories making the rounds across the globe. Now, we are in the final hours of the COP26, but new draft climate deal steps up call for urgent actions. Yesterday, there were stories of some Irish people going around in Scotland, especially in Glasgow, I think Glasgow or Edinburgh area, and just deflating people's tires because they think that this one is using a 4x4, and they decide to deflate their tires. Well, if you want you want them to buy electric cars, why not? You think so? Give them money to buy the electric cars, and they'll stop using their gasless, if that's what you want to do. But well, a new draft agreement at the COP26 climate summit in Glasgow has stepped up calls on governments to urgently tackle climate change. It asked countries to reveal their plans to massively reduce greenhouse gas emissions at a much faster speed than previously. But it softens commitment to reduce use of coal and other fossil fuels. It also asks countries to strengthen their support for poorer countries fighting climate change. The deal must be agreed by all countries at the meeting. Now, negotiations could go late into Friday or longer. The UN meeting is seen as crucial for limiting the worst effects of global warming. On Friday, UN Chief Antonio Guterres said COP26 will probably not achieve its aims, and the goal of limiting global warming to 1.5 degrees is on life support. Scientists say that limiting warming to 1.5 degrees compared to pre-industrial levels will protect us from the most dangerous impact of climate change. It is a key part of the Paris Agreement that most countries signed up to. Now, meeting the goal requires global emissions to be cut by 45% by 2030 and to zero overall by 2050. One example of the impact of global temperatures rise above 2 degrees is the death of virtually all coral reefs, scientists have said. Professor Jim Watson at University College London said the draft agreement had encouraging elements, but overall it was nowhere near ambitious enough. The draft requests the countries submit their plans known as nationally determined contributions to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and adapt to climate change by next year's climate summit. Now, previous agreements asked countries to submit these NDCs every 5 years. But what will be different from what is being said now? The latest draft of the decision has gained in strength in many areas, but as in every negotiation, there are some losses too. It is Starr Radio UK, and we're going to get that when it comes to the environment. Well, it is Starr Radio UK. 10 minutes past the top of the hour at the time. Exactly at 12:30, we'll be having the money hour. So if you want to jump in and make a voice ahead, why not do so now? All right then. Now, moving on to some other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. Let's go to the Trump camp once again. I have Kojo who has joined in. Okay, let me cross over to Kojo, and then let me just read this headline. Court temporarily blocks release of Trump's records. Well, a judge ruled that Trump's records should be open so that everything that he knew about the Capitol invasion is known. However, his defense team has also filed another case, and they have had a bit of a temporary block. But the question is, if he has not got anything to hide, why is he trouble? But let me say good afternoon to you, Kojo.
Yeah, good afternoon, Archie. Yeah, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing very well, and you?
I'm good, thank you.
Great. Yes, so far we've talked about lots of things, but what is your take on any of them before we move on to others? Yeah.
Probably let's go to climate change, really.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, right. We'll be about that climate change. I mean, anybody now who says anything does sound a bit negative about climate change is probably described as a denier.
Yes.
But I don't think that is an issue, really. People are raising valid reasons. And some of our valid reasons they are raising, if you really seriously, as governments, want to pursue the climate targets that have been set to reduce a global temperature below 1.5 degrees, then there have to be substantial investment in a number of things.
Yeah.
And even at the summit, they were talking about all the people having come to any firm, conclusive agreement. So people are raising these issues. So where are we going forward? Where is the world going forward when there is no firm, conclusive agreement as to how to reduce these targets? I mean, it was on the program the other day we were talking about. They were talking about aiming at deforestation at 2030.
Yeah.
But by the time it gets there, the forest would have been depleted. There has been no firm agreement.
Yeah.
And we know that that will be the case because the previous agreements that were set up in the Paris Accord, by the time it got to the deadline of people working towards deforestation, the forests have been depleted. And the forests have been depleted. So if there is no firm agreement either from the big players, right, and 3 of the big players didn't even care to be part of the whole agreement. I mean, where was Russia? Russia wasn't anywhere.
They said there was COVID in their country. There was a spike, so they needed to stay at home.
Exactly. And we know Russia is even cutting a lot of its Siberian forest. Where was Brazil? Bolsonaro wasn't anywhere to be seen. Where was China? China wasn't there. It was a late statement put out by China and America. America that was even there doesn't seem to be pushing for anything really.
Yeah.
So where are we going with that? That is a real big issue. So a lot of the people who gathered at that COP26 really are not the big polluters of the environment.
Yeah.
So where are we going? UK is talking about people moving into electric cars. Look, last night I went to do my MOT, and when I finish MOT, I look at my mileage on the clock on the car, and it seems I've done quite a bit. And I got back home, I was trying to look at an alternative to buy
electric.
If I want to buy
electric
next year, or maybe 2023 if I want to buy a new car, because my car is already probably getting to 10 years. I was looking at buying an electric car, and virtually when I look at it, I gasped.
You'll be out of pocket by the time you own one.
And I said, how am I going to be able to own one of these cars when you're looking at prices way beyond what the average man can afford? And if you look around, just look around London, and you see the type of people who are driving the big branded electric cars, like the Audis, like the Teslas, even the cheap Nissan Leaf. How much is that?
You
cannot afford it. And I look at it, I look at one of the brands, you need to even put down 8 grand as a deposit. And I said that will buy me another used car to drive for how many years? Another 3 or 4 years. 10 grand. I look at it, I said, look, I can buy a used car for 5 grand. Although used cars have now also relatively shot up in price. But the reason why they've shot up in price is not because the cars have gained massive value. It's because of the shortage, global shortage of
chips. The chips that was being used.
And once that is corrected, the market will level up again. And I was like, what? I look at the basic electric car, it will cost me. Look, I look at the Corsa, right? That is a small car with the dealers. I look at it. You have to come up with a 300 minimum pound each month. And I look at some others, apart from the 8 grand you pay as a deposit, you're still coughing up nearly 500 a month on the PCP, or at least. I said, how are we going to afford that? I am not sure. I'm not sure if government really wants us to do it, then they have to seriously consider, look, giving better grants to people to do it. I mean, giving $2.5 grand to people
for scrapping their cars, that's chicken feed. It's not going nowhere. Yeah.
And if they really want our homes to be really green, then they have to be looking at insulin Britain.
Yeah.
Although I don't like their tactics, but the message they are carrying across is a relevant message.
Yeah.
We can't go into doing heat pumps without the homes being
properly insulated. Yeah.
I mean, so those are some of the things we should really be looking at. I mean, and on the hill of that, I hear some people deflated the tires.
Yeah. In Glasgow, going around looking at SUVs, deflating people's tires because they think, right, these are the enemies of the environment.
I mean, the truth is that you have it's a bit disgraceful, in my opinion. You have all these world leaders flying in private jets to Glasgow, all of them descending on Glasgow, and yet they are preaching that some of us shouldn't take holidays on a commercial flight, but they are flying in private jets. And you look at the American president fleet of vehicles.
Yeah.
Pumping gas. I mean, those vehicles are about 5 liter and upward.
Yeah. 6 points and stuff like that. Proper gasless, proper ones.
And you're preaching to the rest of us. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry if I put it that way. And that said, I'll put a good story on it. A young Sierra Leonean student has been awarded a global prize for clean energy invention.
Okay, interesting.
So why are we not supporting that? Why is COP26 not looking at people who are bringing clean energy invention and support that initiative? I think that award wouldn't go far. That award is roughly about £70,000. It's a lot of money in that part of the world.
Yeah.
And he's a student, but it's not going to go far. There should be some global giant who will say, look, I'm going to take this innovation and make this device work better. So that is what I'm looking at. But is that going to happen? We'll keep our eyes on it.
Well, we will. I think that would be the only way forward. But let me ask you another question about one of the stories that I picked on. That is working from home. Now, we are talking about the fact that just even bringing this environment and everything true. Now, if you look at morning hours, where there are rush hours in the morning, and you look at the pollution, let's say in the afternoon as well, in the evening when people have finished work and coming home and all that. And now some people, government want to push people to go back to the office and like as we were before the pandemic struck. Now, do you think that is something, one area that we can also use to, reduce the carbon emission that we are causing?
Yeah. I mean, if more people are working from home, let's put it this way: if I were driving to office Monday to Friday, like I used to do previously, right, and I was pumping, let's say, 500 cc into the air, right?
Yeah.
I'm saying carbon into the air, and I reduce going to the office to 2 days, and not doing that journey for 3 days. I will have automatically halved my carbon print.
Yeah.
But I might drive in local areas, but I probably not driving 30 miles. 70 miles a day.
Yeah.
So, or not driving 30 miles a day. So in the local area, sometimes you even want to hop onto public transport.
Or even walk in some where the distances are.
You want to go.
Yeah.
So you drive less mileage. You probably drive 5 miles as opposed to driving 30 miles. Right? So that is where probably I am coming. You're halving it. You're automatically halving your carbon print. So just pushing people to go back into office will increase the carbon print. But I don't think they are looking at the fact that people were going to drive. They're looking at the fact that people are going to hop onto public transport.
Yeah,
that's what they are looking more at. So, well, that is probably because they think that the way forward is for people going on public transport to cut down emissions instead of people driving.
Yeah.
We
go on public transport and we infect each other more with the COVID as well. So what is
well, in the government's thinking, or the way the politicians are thinking, they need to rebalance the economy. So how do they achieve that growth of balancing the economy? People need to return back to their normal
routines,
daily work. Routines. So that's the only way to balance the economy, so that the tourism sector, the hospitality sector, everything can kick back. So that is why they are urging people to go back. But at the same time, they are trying to balance it against the risk of contracting COVID and having another pandemic. As we saw in the news, that Australia is slightly going back to lockdown again. Because they want to urge unvaccinated citizens to take vaccine to reduce the infection rates. So I'm not sure how governments are playing and judging this. But if you talk to a scientist, scientist will say, no, we need to reduce travel and all that interaction with all that. And at the same time, you talk to the government, who say we need to make money.
Someone is looking at money, somebody is looking at the health of the people.
So it's a difficult one, really.
Okay.
And we can tag into the story you took previously. For once, I'm happy that AZ will also start making money.
So
we know their competitors have made millions.
What do you call them? Moderna and all those people.
and Pfizer. Although the Pfizer is not too expensive like Moderna, they've made so much billions, and they've made other people to become billionaires. Right? And people have made money at the back of all these pandemic, and we know some corrupt politicians in some parts of African countries have also amassed wealth as a result. And we were told that because at the point the Russians Sputnik vaccine was exactly the same as the AstraZeneca. We know 2 weeks ago the news came out that which the Russians have denied, we should put it that way, that the Russians stole some of the technology or all of the technology of AstraZeneca. That is why the 2 vaccines are the same.
When you are thinking, somebody is thinking. You can't say.
So, and the Russians are profiting. That is what I'm trying to arrive at. AstraZeneca is selling it at £3 or $5, and the Russians are selling. How much did they sell it to Ghana? $35. So the Russians are profiting as a result of having the same template and the same vaccination. But AstraZeneca isn't making money.
Okay, listen to Starr Radio UK. We have another, call it 40 minutes before we cross over to our money man. 40 minutes. It's supposed to be 12:30, but let's have another 40 minutes before we cross over to him. We'll be looking at household budgets. We know that things are tough now, but hey, he's got a guide for you, a way forward, how you can manage things if you are not being able to manage your finances. Well, make sure you listen to us on the Money Hour. But let's look at a video that came out yesterday night from South Africa. De Klerk recording a video saying that this video shouldn't play it until I'm dead. And what was he saying? Apologizing for all the mistreatment, the misdeeds and everything, the bad, the evil of apartheid. Now, why did he do that? Why didn't he do that whilst he was alive for his people to know that, look, I really detest what we did?
I think, well, that's my suggestion, that's my impression. That might be completely wrong. But what I strongly think is he was looking at the fact that when he made those statements in in their parliament, which was then completely a all white parliament, some people literally walked out of parliament. A lot of the white people walked out because they didn't expect him to make such a statement that the constitution has been changed. Prisoners that have been held by the apartheid regime for political reasons are going to be freed, and against the backdrop Mandela was going to be released. They've taken a decision to release Mandela from prison. Half of the parliament walked out on him, right? So he, as much as he was being seen by a lot of the black people, Mandela and co, that he brought apartheid down. At the same time, there were people who were his compatriots who saw him probably as a traitor. So some of those people are well agreed, but that in itself could not be a reason for him not accepting the wrongs that have been done.
Okay.
He could have done it much earlier, but he's the only one who could answer that question, why he preferred that at his death he released that speech he made that statement, the videotaping hours before he died.
Yeah.
So my suggestion is that when people are really at the point of death, they have a reckoning. And they realize several people go through that phase and they have a reckoning and they think, no, it is time I apologize for all the wrongs I have done to people, so that I can go in peace. The people too can have, continue to live, knowing that you have actually done the right thing and reconcile with all the wrong.
Okay. Hold on. We have got Felix on the line as well. Let's go to Felix in a bit. Felix, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing very well. You?
I think I'm floating on.
Good. Okay. Yes. What do you want to say, sir?
Well, I'm not going to disagree with Kojodi. I mean, even our own personal lives, you've had situations. I've not had that sort of situation, but if you've spoken to some people have had situations where they've had to apologize to their own children.
Yeah.
The way they treated them when they were little kids, on their, for want of a better expression, on their deathbed.
Yeah.
There are some fathers in some cases who have had children just walked away from the children because they were in their, shall we say, crazy youthful days. So they were, shall we say, chasing all sorts of women around while they left their own children behind.
Yeah.
And then, like Kojodi said, they had to come to reckoning that they haven't taken care of their own children. And now in some cases, in their last days, these children that they haven't taken care of are now the ones they are relying on. So people come to such reckoning. And of course, there are some people who never come to those sort of situations, whether because it's a question of stiff-neckedness, or whether it's because that little voice within them is not speaking to them, or even if it's speaking to them, they are refusing to listen.
Yeah.
Or whether it's a question of they feel they have to have a machoistic approach to life, where you never apologize. As you
no regrets.
Sort of these Western countries that after many years, for some of the things they did to other countries, they never come to the point of apologizing. The closest they come to, we express extreme regret, or I mean that sort of thing. That's the sort of situation that America has over Vietnam, where they refuse to apologize what they've done to the Vietnamese, that sort of thing. But some people are also his predecessor, de Klerk, never apologized for anything.
Buta.
No, sorry. Yeah, Botha. Yes.
He never did. He never did.
Botha never apologized for anything.
Yeah.
Thanks for the correction. Botha never apologized for anything.
Yeah.
Whether that is how he actually felt internally or privately, we'll never know. But he never apologized for anything. Right? So some people come to this reckoning. And some people also come to the reckoning that, look, we have left you with a big mess behind.
Yeah.
Which is what South Africa finds itself in. It's a big mess. You know, it's a huge mess. They have not addressed the question of the land.
The land, yeah.
And we all know how complicated that issue is. Even when you are dealing with people in countries where you don't have, shall we say, immigrants who have settled.
Yeah.
They don't want to classify themselves as immigrants. They want to classify themselves as settlers.
Yeah.
But those of us who come to Europe will forever be described as immigrants.
Yeah.
Yes. You know, it's a huge problem. It's a problem that Zimbabwe is having to address up till now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a problem that a lot of these Southern African countries will have to address. There's a bit of that in Mozambique as well. Because not all the Portuguese who left. There's a bit of that. They may not be significant as South Africa.
Okay.
But Zimbabwe and South Africa has proven to be the flashpoints of this problem. Of the individuals who had their land taken away from them. And now they have to contend with the issue of how do you deal with this? Because whatever we say, most of the white South Africans, Europe is not going to accept them. And they don't even want to live in Europe.
Yeah. They're nice weather and everything. And
when they come to Europe, their house, the ranches that they have in South Africa, when they come to Europe, they can't have that.
No. At all.
They will be confined to a 2-bedroom flat or house in South London. You know, they're not going to have house helps and, you know,
all those things that they're having there. Yeah.
All those, yes.
Yeah.
So they are not going to leave South Africa. They're going to be there some way, somehow. And that brings on a difficult issue. You get them off the land and give the land to the rightful owners who've lost their land for well over 100 years now.
Or do you compensate them?
Issue.
Do you compensate them?
Compensate them for what? What do you want them to go and live?
Give them huge money.
You can't live on the money.
You need to invest it. Where do you invest it?
You know, it's like sometimes when I speak to, you know, friends and relatives in London. Oh, well, I live in a house that is worth £750,000. Well, are you going to sell the house in the street, sleep on the street, and have the money in the bank?
When you die,
you got to live somewhere. Like we discussed yesterday, some of these people are still living in shacks.
Yeah.
In fact, Cyril Ramaphosa himself, their land that was taken away from them when he was cleared out of Johannesburg, he's not received that land back. And he happens to be the president. Of course, he's wealthy now, so maybe he has bought another land somewhere.
Yeah.
But other
hello?
They've remained in destitution till now.
Wow. Okay, we've got 5 minutes to go, but let me ask you a quick one on another this, and then we will run up and join our money man. Now, today is the first anniversary of the demise of the former president of Ghana, Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings. What legacy so far? I mean, looking at what has happened and a year on, what do you think Ghanaians can learn from it?
The Ghanaians don't learn anything from their leaders. They have never learned anything from their leaders. They are not a bunch of people who learn. They will never. Those who like Jerry Rawlings will like him. Those who don't like him will not like him. Ghanaians want leaders. Most Ghanaians, or at least some Ghanaians, put it this way. Some Ghanaians like leaders who allow them the freedom to do the wrong things.
Okay.
And Jerry Rawlings was not that kind of leader. That's the reason why some people don't like him.
Okay.
Nkrumah also followed the same path. There are Ghanaians who wanted him to allow them to do the wrong things, the freedom to do the wrong things. Nkrumah never allowed that. And that's the reason why some people don't like Nkrumah to this day. Right? Jerry Rawlings followed the same path. A lot of these people who claim they had problems with Jerry Rawlings, it was simply because they were involved with things that Jerry Rawlings despised. Right? And those who don't like him, don't like him. Those who like him, like him. And that's what it will be. Posterity will judge whether those people are right or whether those people are wrong.
Okay.
Just like posterity has judged Nkrumah to be right on most of the things that he did.
Yeah.
So, I mean, today, people sort of the people who dislike Jerry Rawlings, they are the same people who seem to be endorsing what the Greater Accra Regional Minister is doing. But what was Jerry Rawlings doing at the time? He was going on the street. He said that it wasn't. You don't solve the problems of our country sitting in your office.
Be on the ground itself.
Be on the ground. We have enough laws on our books. We don't need any more laws. Be on the ground. Make sure that things are, because that's our nature. We are not some of these countries, in the world where a legislation comes into effect and everybody does things, and the minister is not going to remind you.
Yeah.
You live in this country, your money man is coming into, I listen to him all the time. Well, not all the time, most of the time.
Yeah.
And he will tell you that on this date, this is coming into place. If you have, this refund to apply for, go for it. If you have this family tax credit to apply for, if you don't apply for this day, that is gone.
Yeah.
You don't get a minister coming to knock at your door.
No.
But in our country, if you don't do that, things don't move.
It's true.
Our system works. When Jerry Rawlings was doing that, going into the gutters of Nima to clear the refuse before the rubbish, before the rain set in, so people don't get their houses flooded, we were told, hey, a leader shouldn't be doing this.
He needs to be sitting in the office.
He was called all sorts of names. Today, the Greater Accra Minister, he goes around asking for buildings without permit to be pulled down. And we are supposed to be clapping and endorsing him. The same thing that Jerry Rawlings was doing that we were told wasn't good. Today we are being told that, actually, this is one of the best ministers so far. That's our nature. We are deceitful, clueless, corrupt, very lazy. We lack vision, or if we have vision, it's short-term vision rather than long-term vision. I mean, that's just our nature. We don't like people who are disciplined. Increasingly, even when our children are disciplined in schools, we take it up on the head teachers. No wonder you see the nature of the levels of discipline in our secondary and primary schools.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, let posterity judge him.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Have a good day.
Yeah, and you have a lovely weekend. Okay, let's go to Kojo quickly. Kojo, your take on that?
We'll probably end on that note. Posterity will judge whether how well Rawlings did, or how poorly he ran the country, or was he a better leader? Was he among one of the best leaders Ghana has ever had? So let's posterity judge him.
Okay.
And on that note, I would say somebody like Thomas Sankara. We now know in the books that he was one of the best leaders Africa or Burkina Faso never had.
Yeah.
Because he was short-lived.
Yeah.
So, and we'll end up on that note, and we say happy Friday to every listener. Make the best of the weekend.
Yes. And we say, may you also have the best of the weekend, Kojo. We'll catch up later. All right then.
Thank you.
Right. Well, listeners, that was Kojo D and Felix all the way in Aberdeen, making their take on some of the issues that was discussed this afternoon. But we're now crossing straight to Kent, where Money Man is, and we're looking at household budget, especially in a time where price of what do you call them? Fuel and everything. Yes, it's all going up. What do you think is going to happen? Well, Starr Radio UK, stay tuned, don't you go away, and let's have our Money Man. Okay, listeners, this is Starr Radio UK. That was question for you. The conversation goes on. We always tell you that after this program, the conversation goes on. You can still put your post or whatever you think on our Facebook page, or you can still tweet them or WhatsApp us or whatever you want to do. But continue to be talking and discussing issues pertaining to where you are in Nigeria, wherever. And we promise our Nigerian listeners as well that come next month, we are bringing you a program, a current affairs program that will be highlighting on Nigeria, their issues in there, and what more. But it is now time for our Money Man to come put some money in your pocket. And you know what? It's something that I'm very happy about, because in this day and age where everything is struggling, the expenses is higher than the income. So before the money even lands in your account, the money is gone, swallowed. Okay, now you have your bills and everything to pay, And at times we struggle with that. We don't know what to do. And today we have our money man in the house, and we are going to be looking at managing an effective household budget. So upon all that, how do I even manage that? We have our money man. And let me say good afternoon to you, Mr. Dan Tabiri.
Good afternoon to you, Archie.
How are you, sir?
Happy to be coming away again this afternoon.
Yes, we are glad to have you as well. Okay, so let's move on swiftly because we know we've already chopped some of your time, but don't you worry. Today, sir, we're having a look at our household budgets.
That's correct, yes.
Okay.
We have been looking over the past weeks to try and save ourselves some money. So we've been looking at some money-saving tips. As much as looking at what we are saving, it's important that we also need to look at what our goings look like, what's the profile, which will help us to be able to save some of that money. As you mentioned before, you find that a lot of people you hear this often that I don't know where the money's gone. Money comes in and it looks like the expenses is more than the income.
Yeah.
Well, if you find yourself in this situation, then definitely this is very relevant to you. You need to start doing some budgeting.
Okay.
If you feel that you are spending more than your income, then the budgeting is essential. So this is what we want to be looking at today, hopefully, in the next 15 minutes that we've got.
Okay, sir. Over to you, sir.
Okay. So as we've already mentioned, it's important that anybody, in fact, looks at what the profile of their household spending is.
Okay.
And also their income. So we all know we have to do it, but sometimes we find it really difficult putting that into practice. Things become clearer when you put them on paper and you start to look at things. So for starters, what you would need to do is to look at what has already happened. So look at your past expenditure.
Past expenditure, okay.
Yeah, say for example, the last 3 months. Take your bank statement and go through it and analyze it. See what you've actually spent.
Okay.
So if you write down your main bills that you've got, for example, if you've got mortgage payments or you've got rent that you're paying, utilities, telephone, council tax, and what have you, groceries. So anything that you pay for, list them out. Do the last 3 months analysis so that you can have an idea the average amount of spend in your household for each month.
Okay.
After you've done that, you need to also do the same for your income. So whatever money or sources of income in that household for the last 3 months, analyze them, strike an average. Okay. Based on the income and the expenditure, you would have a fair idea of whether you're borrowing to survive or you have a surplus.
Okay.
Once you have this picture in mind, then you can start to put in place a budget. Okay, so starting point is to look at the expenditure and the income that has gone on in the past 3 months, so that it gives you a fair idea of how much your family or your household earns and spends on average in a month.
Okay.
Yeah. So the budget will start with let's start with, first of all, the income. You look at the average income. So for example, if your average income for the year, if you're on a salary, you know what your net take-home pay is.
Yeah.
There's no point looking at gross because the tax will be deducted before the money is given you. Yeah. So look at your net income. If you're on a PAYE or if you're an employee, look at your net salary. If you are self-employed, then you'll be looking at how much you're able to take out of your business. If you have other sources of income, for example, if you have maybe a property that you are renting, that you are earning income from, then you need to, also add that income. So all sorts of income for the month in that household needs to be taken into account.
Okay.
Yeah, if there are more than two people or more than one person earning income in that household, you have to collate all these incomes, because it's better looking at the household income than individual budget.
All right.
So you have an idea what your monthly income is, and then the expenses would be a lot more difficult. Again, you've looked at the last 3 months expenditure and then struck an average, so you know that for every item that you spend in your house, you know how much you would need to spend each month.
Okay.
So if, for example, your gas bill is, let's say, £60 a month, then you will now need to start. Obviously, it's £60. That is how much you have available to spend. If you go over £60, you know that you can't afford it. So then you know that you have to restrict yourself within £60 a month or lower. So
and just to interject there, how do you do that then?
Sorry,
how do you restrict yourself? I know that my gas bill for the month is £60.
Yeah.
Now I could see that now I'm going higher than that. Now I know that the providers are already increasing their prices. Maybe I've gone through all the what do you call, compare the market thing, and I know that this is the best one that I have. And still I'm going up. What do I do?
Yeah, I mean the important thing about doing this budget is it's supposed to be able to instigate a change and then cause you to start thinking more about your behaviors and how it's affecting your standard of living and your bills. Okay, so once you realize that you have a budget of £60, now you would have to start thinking of ways to reduce that bill. So, for example, if you were leaving your heating on for longer, you might want to start looking at, maybe I can cut down on when I switch time that I switch my heating on. Perhaps I'm doing my washing at peak hours.
Yeah.
I'd have to look at different times. Maybe I've got economy 7, so maybe instead of washing during the day, I'll wash during
the night.
Yeah, little things like that is what is going to drive your cost down. But without putting something down on paper, doing a budget, it will be difficult for you to quantify the changes, the effect of the changes that you are making on your bills. Yes, so that's why this is very important. This is very critical.
All right, so go on, sir.
Yeah, so you have a budget for each of your expenses: telephone, gas, council tax, rent. There are some that are definitely fixed costs. They are outside of your control. You cannot, there's not enough room for you to navigate.
Okay.
So those are what you call fixed costs. For example, if you're paying rent, the rent is fixed.
Yeah, you can't do anything about that.
Time. You can't
Maybe you can decide to sleep in the house 3 days.
The landlord will still take their rent. Council tax, for example, it's fixed. You have no control. Once the local authority decides this is how much your rateable value is, and this is the tax that you have to pay, you can't do much about it. I'm more focused on the things that you can make a change in your lifestyle that can cut waste. Basically, cut waste for you to save some money. And if you start making small changes, you'll be surprised how much you can save.
Okay.
Sometimes things like our telephone bills, you might need to revisit if you're not on a fixed contract, or even if you're on a fixed contract, look around, see what other deals are about. Without looking, you would not know. You'd be surprised what other people are offering. Even on the same network, sometimes they offer deals where they can match deals of other providers.
Yeah.
So if you're able to get these and approach your provider and say, okay, I've got this offer from somewhere, you either match it or I'm leaving. They are more than likely to want to retain your services, your patronage, and therefore they would reduce your bill for you.
Okay.
So little things like that. But the key thing here is without putting things down on paper in black and white, it will be difficult for you to see this picture that I'm trying to paint for you.
Yeah, I get you. Well, what you talked about like phone bills, where we have you as a father, and then the missus and the children, or a mother and the children, and now all the children, even those in the nursery, have mobile phones. Yeah, it looks like that. Now, how do you deal with such? Because you don't want your child to, be left out, and therefore you are sort of forced to get your child a mobile phone, and you know that it doesn't come cheap. It's not free.
Yeah.
And therefore you have to pay. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, the world we live in now is such that you want to try and get be in contact with your child at all times.
Yeah.
So that whenever she needs you, she
able
can
to
get
read.
in touch.
Yeah.
So all the children have mobile phones now. So when they are in school or they are leaving, they are out of your sight. You can keep in touch with them and know what they are doing at any time. But as you've mentioned, it comes at a cost, and sometimes at a very great cost. The good thing is that most of the telephone companies have packages that are suitable for children. Because if you give a child a phone with unlimited credit in terms of data and calls and all that, if you're not careful, they will bankrupt you. So the phone companies have packages that are suitable for children.
Okay.
And they give them a set or some amount of data that is free that they can use. And I want to believe that there are parental controls on this as well.
Okay.
And they are much cheaper because they are being used by children. You have to find out. There's a lot of information out there on packages available. I would recommend people to visit the which website.
Okay.
And before you make any purchase or make any contract, look at what's out there, which has various comparative tools that can compare, do a quick search of the market for you, and then based on that, it will help you to make an informed decision.
Okay.
So let's use the resources out there.
Go on, sir.
Yeah. So once you have your budget of what your income is, how much constraints you've got in terms of how much you've got to spend. If you have a focus of maybe saving some money as well for the future, that has to be implemented, included in the budget. And it's a matter of making sure that you stick to this budget, going forward. If you stick to that budget, then there is no chance of you spending more than you're bringing in, and therefore getting yourself into any kind of debt or having to fall on credit cards to survive or to pay your bills.
But what would you say about people who find themselves already in this hole? they find themselves in this world. Like you're saying, you don't want to be using credit cards, and that's rather whilst in the hole, try to dig deeper. I mean, you're going deeper and deeper and deeper. What we know a few of them who at times go to these loan sharks to go get some loan because they will need to fix something ASAP, and then and it ends up, I mean, very bad for them. What would you say about that?
Well, at all costs, if possible, they would have to avoid, high cost debt. Anytime if you have to borrow money, always think about the implications on how much is that loan costing you.
Yeah.
If you definitely need to borrow that money to sort something out that you cannot do without, then you'd have to look at what options you've got in terms of borrowing that is cheaper. Because once you lay yourself into that debt, it will be difficult to come out. And then you need to know exactly how you're going to be able to pay for that. So it's not enough just taking on the debt, but you have to plan for how you're going to make a repayment of it.
Okay.
Because if you don't, then it becomes a problem for you. Because the longer the debt stays with you, remember, the more expensive it will become in terms of the interest cost and charges on top.
Wow.
So if you can, being debt free is the best way to go. We looked a few weeks back at the cost of borrowing.
Yeah.
We looked at credit cards and we compared it with other forms of borrowing like overdraft and things like that.
Yeah.
If your credit is good and you can get a good overdraft, then by all means go for that rather than a credit card.
Okay. So you recommend that a good overdraft will be better than going for a credit card or going to loan sharks?
The interest on overdrafts are quite low compared to credit card.
Okay. Mr. Tabiri, I know that your time is up, but if you can run up, please.
Yeah, so I know that doing a budget is not very easy for the layman. If you require any help to start constructing a household budget for yourself, I'm very happy to help you. You can reach me on my telephone number 079-6124-8834, 079-6124-8834, and my email address is dan@GIL Accountancy Services, dan@GILAccountancyservices.com.
Okay. Mr. Tabiri, thank you very much. But I hope that next week, I think we will have to, because there are a few questions that people want to be asking. We'll try to collate all of them, and then God willing, next week when we meet, I think we'll try to bring it your way for you to see if you can address, because some of them are asking now if they know that for sure. The income does not, match the expenditure in any way. So virtually they are ground negative.
And next week we'll be asking him from accountant's point of view. The manifesto that has been presented.
Okay.
Which one will best help a businessman, a self-employed, an employee, or someone about starting a business?
Okay.
Out of those budget, the tax elements being proposed, the angle, the deductions, the takeaway, what will best work for if I'm a self-employed, so that I know how to vote?
Yes. It's important.
Share the potential impact.
Okay, Mr. Tabiri. So we want to say thank you very much, and hopefully we'll give you enough time to do that homework, and then you can come and explain it or teach us more about that.
You need to be educated. We want to be educated.
Okay. Thank you. Have a blessed day.
Thank you. God bless.
Right. Bye-bye. Okay, that was Mr. Dan Tabiri, our money man. He's the CEO of GIL Accountancy.
Sala venga nong la sala,
over there. Living in the world, my brother, them. Living in the world, my sister. But you live in this world. You living in the world, mama. Some are really go hate you. Some are really go love you. And some are really go hate you. Yeah, we don't wanna kanga, we don't wanna donga bana kanga. But for you the bala, yeah, we don't wanna go on. Yeah, we don't wanna kanga la kanga. Yeah, we don't wanna kanga, living in the world, my sister. Some are really go love you, and some are really go hate you. Yeah, we don't wanna kanga, there is no beer. That is why we be drinking all